Hi, it's Liz from Lohas, Canada. It is August, I think it's the 18th today, 2020, and this is a podcast about crafty things. We talk about knitting, sewing, and all things crafty, and then focus on eco-friendly products. So we are trying to be more sustainable, more resourceful. This week, or these last couple of weeks, have been really eventful for me. So the first week that I was doing the last podcast, I actually did the Wanda Fuca, so I only went to Bear Beach, which is about an hour and a half drive from here, and then you have to hike in, spend the night, and then hike out. Or you can continue along the Wanda Fuca and do more trails. So it's about 3.5 hours to hike in with your backpack as well, and take everything with you. And that actually really opened my eyes to like what I actually needed on a hiking trip, where I need to start making reusable, washable bags. So my whole eco-friendly thing is like, oh, let's be eco-friendly, let's just use natural fibers. Back in the day, they would use wax cloth. And what was that wax with? Not some great stuff, but then also like linseed oil, which is also highly flammable, and they use different methods. Maybe I think we're also overly cautious, or at least I am, where I'm like, okay, if I get this wet or it rains, because it does rain quite a bit on that side of the coast, then a lot of stuff will get wet. So how can we make it most efficient, using dry bags, using reusable bags. So I've been on the hunt for different reusable materials. So it has shifted my mind of maybe we don't need to use it 100% of the material being compostable as much as I would love to, but also looking for those alternatives that we can use that will continuously enjoy the lifestyle that we have, but also being able to reuse it until it's no longer being able to do that after all the mending. I also went and did some surfing up in Tofino. Tofino's about 3 hours away from me, and I live in Parksville, BC, so it's on the west coast of Canada. So Tofino is our surfing town, so it was busy though, so it's not something I would super recommend in this time right now. I also had to go to the Okanagan just to pick up some personal items, and I thought now is the time to do it and just stay away from everybody. So on the way back, I was able to pick up 40 pounds of peaches. So I ended up going to Karamias. So Karamias is near Penticton in the Okanagan, and they had second peaches, so maybe it had a little blemish or something, and they were selling them for 20 pounds for $9, which is crazy because right now on the island the price is for good peaches is like $1.99 a pound, or if you buy a case of 10 pounds it's about $10 or $15 depending on where you go. So pretty good deal, and I canned some, I froze a whole bunch, and I made like cobbler and all that good stuff. So I've been busy kind of doing more hands-on stuff, more stuff in the wilderness, being outdoors than actually being inside. But of course I did take some projects with me. So I do have some projects going and one project finished. So let's get on to, first of all, some knitting. Okay, so this is Jessica Maed, M-A-E-D. It's my little secret crop top. I did that in the other two mustard colors, one for myself, one for my sister, which I haven't given it to her yet, but I will be doing that probably this weekend. But this one I wanted to try to do some color work because this is my first color work attempt. And I do not have like my finger positioning right at all, but I did want to try it out, and I do have really big floats at the back, so I don't know if that's going to be a huge problem when I snag on it, but I just thought it would be a really nice, cute top. I'm not going to make it a crop top. I don't really wear too many crop tops. It is very holey though, so when I was thinking when it comes up to the bust area, I might throw in another black and hold the black together just so that it is thicker. I don't know how it's going to look. It might muddle up this beige color, but I'm hoping I like it in the end. I really thought I would really like it with the stripes going up instead of across. It is giving kind of a Beetlejuice vibe, so I don't really know how it'll look in the end. To me, it's too hard to imagine, but I think in the end it'll be fine, it'll be great, and hopefully it fits, because once I started doing the color work, definitely like shrunk it up, and we will see how it looks. But I think there is 3 stitches, and my floats are quite big because of that. So I think just because of the yarn and the needle size as well. So for my sewing projects, so this is one piece of the corset. So I cut out this material last time and I showed you, and on the other side so it's 2 pieces, and this will be one side of the corset. So what I did is I felled it down on the inside, as you can see. So I finished all that. And then what I'm doing now is putting the 2 right side pieces together, and I am trying to work on my hand stitching, and it's not going too well, but this is the great practice of it. And so I'm just hand stitching the front and the backs together. So once I'm going to be done that, then I will machine stitch. I'm going to have to remark where exactly the boning channels go, but I will look at that and then stitch in the boning channels, and then once that is done, so I do have to figure out my grommets as well. So I do have a press to put in grommets, but I do know with the last one I just had the 2 layers of canvas, and I did put one in the middle, and still with the tugging I can kind of see some stress on it. So I want to see what would be the best material and maybe the best way to put in that material so it doesn't stretch as far when you put in the grommet, so it has some stability, and what would be the best material for that. So I don't know if I'm going to put in like a front busk at the front, or if I'm going to put in a zipper or what have you. So I'm going to finish this up and then figure that out. So that is how far I've gotten on my corset. So my finished object, an apron. So it is out of this nice green linen, and it's got nice ties all the way up. Big thick ties at the back, and then it's got some pockets. I did have a problem putting in the pockets, and I am a little bit worried because I've never put in pockets before. I haven't cut all my loose threads either, but I'm just a little bit worried about, like, you know how sometimes the top part of the pocket sags a bit down. So I'm hoping that over time it doesn't do that, but kind of just time will tell, or maybe I need to reinforce it. But it's going to my sister for her birthday, so I thought that would be a great birthday gift. So I will just show you. And comes down, goes at the back. So the pattern I use is Butterick B5765, and I did think I was going to do a lot of modifications to it because I didn't especially like the shape of how it curved up and stuff, but I did the A version, which is this version, just in the all solid color. So I thought I was going to do some modifications. I didn't end up doing a lot of those modifications. This pattern also suggests like a back lining, and I did not do that. It is just one of them. So also linen, you can't leave raw edges. So what I did is for a lot of it, I did like a bias seam. So I just cut out some of the green material and then folded it and folded it again, and then so the raw edges were on the inside and sewed it down. So I think I was thinking about this before. So I was thinking the next time if I do a linen apron, like these are, you know, 2 pieces and then this is another piece. So it's just not one fluid piece. It does give it a bit more texture and shape. But what I would do is probably do like a French seam, just because then I wouldn't have to do the bias bindings, because it does add a little bit of bulk. Also on the edges, so on the front part and the top part of the edge, I also did a bias binding on the top of it, but it was starting to flip over and it was just making it a bit loose. So I did flip it back and then sew it on top just to give it some more stability on the other side. So that was just a thing that I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to flip it so it just doesn't look kind of scraggly hanging there. I did have a problem with the bottom, and I wasn't able, because it's supposed to be on this curve type thing, and I just wasn't able to fold it over like they wanted it, fold it over and over again and then stitch it down to get a nice curve. So I ended up hand doing it on the inside, and then I went around and machine top stitched it down just with a zigzag, just to give it a little bit more weight. I would probably also maybe add another piece of material just so it did give it a bit more weight. I don't really know how long. I mean, my sister can also iron it or steam it just to give it a nice effect if she's wanting to do that when she's cooking. But it's linen, it's gonna wrinkle. That's just how it is. So I think with a lot of patterns, because they're not meant for linen, they're meant for more of a cotton or some other type of material, you really do have to think about how you're going to finish those raw edges. Because I even have like this little bag that I made. I'll show you. So when I first started working with linen, I found this one tutorial to make this little like bento bag, which it is super cute. So I haven't really used this bag that much, but you could see my edges are raw. I don't know, no, it doesn't look like I used pinking shears, or maybe I did. It does look like little triangles. So it does look like I used pinking shears, perhaps, but I barely use this bag, and it's just a lot of raw edges, so I wouldn't want that on a finished garment. So those are my only finished objects. I do have some material that came in and some patterns that I found at the thrift store, so let's get into those. So I did find 3 patterns at the thrift store. So this one is Butterick B4807. So this one I wanted to compare. I don't think I've shown this one before, but maybe I have. I wanted to compare it to the Helen's Closet, the Winslow culottes, in terms of how big it is. I still haven't adjusted my culottes. Like, I don't know if they're this flowy, but I do need to adjust my culottes, I think, until up to there, just to try it out. But I wanted to see the size difference in these culottes compared to that. Now this is McCall's 2696, and this is a robe, so like a bathrobe, which I found kind of neat and interesting, I just thought, and kind of something a bit cozy. So, and then this one is Simplicity 9873, and I just think this is a really cute skirt. I'm noticing a lot more now, I don't wear a ton of skirts, but I think just with the tiers, I just want to learn about that. So it's 5 pieces, it says, and this is the correct size for me, and it has somebody else's name on it, but they're all 25 cents each, so you can't get much better than that. So for birthdays, I've been making happy birthday bags, so like reusable bags. So I still haven't made those for my sister yet for her presents. So I do have the material just sitting there ready to be embroidered, and then once I figure out and do the embroidery, then I'll sew it up and then make her a happy birthday bag. So that's another thing on my list. So these are not eco-friendly materials, but I did want to learn how to make a bathing suit. So a modern bathing suit, and then, you know, I can transition backwards. But I did want to learn how to do the structure and everything. So these are all from Blackbird fabric. So they're in Vancouver, and they have really great tags to them where it tells you what the item is, and then the care instructions and the origin as well, and how much that you ordered. So I wanted to make a swimsuit, and I did get that Aztec swimwear material last time, or a couple of times ago. But when I read the pattern, I was like, oh crap, I need a lining. And some people do use the same material for both the front and the back, But let me tell you, so this is a polyester swim lining. So it's 90% polyester, 10% spandex. So it is silky and it is very sheen. And you can see the stretch on that. If I was to use that Aztec fabric for the front and the back, it would just be, I think, way too thick and also a little bit bulky. So I think using a lining fabric is the way to go and actually spending some extra money on it. Now, I did have a problem finding different swimwear fabric, and so that's why I ordered from Blackbird, and it's so close as well. So I was listening to the podcast, Love to Sew. Caroline, who owns Blackbird Fabric, and then Helen from Helen's Closet are both co-hosts, and so they were actually talking about swimwear, or they were talking about thread or something. I think it was a thread episode, and they were saying that in Blackbird they only have these swimwear material only for a certain season. So she was saying it's better to get your swimwear material now, because it's, say, in the fall, in the winter they don't carry it. So if you did want to make a bathing suit in like the springtime, you might have to wait to the summertime or whatever their range is. So they don't carry it all the time is what I'm trying to say. So other places I was looking at, they were selling out crazy, or they just didn't have the color that I wanted. And I wanted black first, and then I also ordered same content and this beige color. So if I make a two-piece, you know, it'll be on the inside of the bust area and on the underwear lining. And then if I make a one-piece, I'll have to look at the instructions. But I ended up getting enough so that if I screwed up, which I will be okay. So I went to, it's called Stedman's, this local shop that just has like a whole bunch of a range of different things. And they have a little sewing section. So I was looking for some sewing needles, and they had this thread. And so it's something I haven't thought about too much, but it's an outdoor thread. It was kind of expensive. And the reason why, they had a little sign there. So it was said that it's 100% polyester, and it's good for swimwear, like this outdoor thread. And the reason why is because, like, if you're wearing a swimsuit and you go like in the ocean or at the swimming pool, it's chlorine and seawater, so they're going to break down your threads a lot faster. Especially they can't use cotton thread, like it would just break down pretty fast. I also ended up getting from Blackbird Fabrics brushed athletic knit, so it's 88% polyester, 12% spandex in this navy color, because I do want to make an athletic top. So there we go. So I can also use the lining for that as well, and just to put it on the inside, like on my bust area. So it's definitely stretchy. I could also use it for swimwear as well. Like, you know, I need to also start making gym wear, because gym wear is very expensive, and also even at the thrift stores you're not able to try on gym wear clothing or any sort of clothing on right now. So that is a thing. And the other one I got is a nylon swim tricot. So it's 82% nylon and 18% spandex. So, and this is the color cedarwood. So it's a bit more muted down, I would say, but I did get, what did I get? 1 meter of this. So I think my thought is I could try to make a 2-piece and then also a 1-piece, possibly. I don't know. I'd have to see how much it uses, or maybe just make a couple tops with this as well for kind of a beachy, like a halter top for the summer. So if I like wanted to use this in my serger, I'd have to buy 4 of these, which I think they were like $8 each. So might try to look for an alternative or a little bit cheaper cost. But speaking of my serger, it's been out of commission still. I need to phone the sewing company. Actually, I should probably do that today. I had the plate piece cracked, and I got it ordered from the sewing place because they didn't have the correct one on stock. So I think everything's just kind of delayed with shipping and everything, so I will follow that up. So also I ordered from Blackbird some chlorine resistant rubber elastic, so I don't want to crinkle it. So I got 2 meters of this. I don't actually know how much I need, but they did have this like chlorine resistant, which is like so great because I wasn't even thinking about that, like all the different things you got to piece together so that you're having this most effective swimwear, and who knows if I can even sew it. So when I was in Tofino, we were staying at a campground in Ucluelet, which is about half an hour away from Tofino, but same on that same peninsula going on. And there was this little shop in Ucluelet called In the Den. Very eco-friendly, very conscious. They had a bunch of like huge vats of like dish soap and like hair products and stuff that you could go there and refill your stuff with, so you didn't have to. It was basically like a big reusable shop, and they had all these great products in it. So when I was camping on the Juan de Fuca, we were trying to figure out some meals, and you can buy dehydrated meals, but what I like to usually buy for camping, especially if I have to hike it in, is these meals where you are like, it's just like a black bean mix. It's already cooked, and all you have to do is like say throw it in the microwave. Of course you don't have microwaves when you're camping, but what you can do is boil some water. You put the pouch in the water and it just boils and heats it up. It's good enough. I did try it with those like pouches of already cooked rice, and you just have to like open it up a bit, put some hot water in, and then boil it. It did take a little bit longer, so depends on how much fuel you are carrying. We did create a fire because we are able to do that where we were camping, and so we just put the pot over the fire and then it just warmed it up and cooked it fully. So those are still wasteful options because then you're just using, they're just a one-time single use. So when I was trying to think of how could I make a meal, put this in, it's already cooked, but I just want to put it in something that then I could reuse and heat it. And we were talking to the lady at In the Den, and she says, oh, you can do that with these stasher bags. Now I have seen it before, and I will do a little review of them. I purchased this at her place, and it says you can cook it, freeze it, and store it. So they're dishwasher, microwavable, fridge and freezer, stove top, and oven safe, and they're made out of silicone. I don't know about the oven, but I might put it through the ringer. This one is a medium one. They did have a whole bunch of different sizes and different ranges for that, so it is plastic free because it's silicone. So, and it's also like BPA and BPS free. So I do kind of want to try it out and like put some like soup in it or something, or maybe not something so liquidy, but with some sort of black bean something, and then see if you're able, or see if I feel comfortable enough to use it and so it wouldn't pop open when I was camping. It would be interesting to see like if I put it in the freezer, how it does well for freezer burn, because that might be a great option for alternative to Ziploc bags or buying single-use plastic for camping. So I will be doing that probably in a couple of weeks and trying to do all different types of things to it just to see how well it holds up. The other thing that she had at the store that I have seen before, it's definitely not a new thing, is these sea sponges. So what are they? They are from Asia, and they are a natural sponge living organism at one point, but basically you would use them for your period. So I do have a video probably coming out next week where I compare the Diva cup to, it's called Nexit or Nixit. It's called Nixit, and I purchased the Nixit with a higher price point than the Diva cup, and kind of using it, and I tried it out with 2 different periods and kind of give you my feedback. So she did have these, which I was really excited about because I haven't seen them at the stores and I didn't want to buy them online for some strange reason. But so what you do is you make it damp and then you insert it and then once it's, you know, full, you take it out, rinse it out, and then put it back in. Now they do disintegrate over time, so she says maybe like 2 to 3 periods, and then you would like get another one. So they are pretty inexpensive to get, and I just want to see how well they work. Obviously you would need to have a sink in your room where you're doing it, but just kind of see as an alternative, because these have been around for so long, you know, and everything that's old or has been done is coming back around again. So these are not new by any means, but new to me. So that will be something to try out and use and kind of experiment and compare to, I don't even know, you compare this to like a tampon, I guess? I mean, you don't reuse a tampon, but it's gonna be soft and spongy, kind of like a tampon. So we'll see, I guess, maybe the absorption rate of a tampon. We'll do that. So my only thing I do want to show you, because I've had some ideas, this is a linen rayon blend, and I got this at that garage sale or estate sale, and I've been washing all that material, so I'm done all that. And I was thinking these are just sample pieces, and they did have tags on them. I forget where I put the tag though. And so they're not huge pieces. That's the extent of them. So I was thinking of turning them into some placemats possibly. They are wrinkling up a bit, so I don't know if they're going to be the best material, or maybe napkins would be better. I don't know. But they're all different colors, but in the same tones. But I think I might have to do a little bit of research, maybe talk to my sister or something and see what they say. I think it's a little bit stiff. Like the linen is definitely very stiff. It is not squishy and drapey for like a napkin. So they may have to do more of like a placemat or something. But I just thought they were so lovely. Got some great tones going on. And yeah, I really enjoyed washing all the fabric, because then I could actually see what I had, and it just wasn't sitting in a bag. And it's a perfect time to do it now, because as I was saying the last podcast, you really, if they've been sitting for so long, like that estate sale, I don't know how long that lady had them for, but a lot of them were just so dusty, and you wash them and you dry them, and then you can actually then see the dust that's on them. So it's just not a matter of fact of just like washing them again and all that dust is removed. You really start to see how much dust is on them when you're like outside and you're shaking them and you're like, oh my gosh. So some of them weren't too bad, some of them were pretty bad. If you have like a clothesline, it's obviously the best way to do it. I don't have a clothesline, so it's just outside, and there's this board on the table, and I was just shaking it out and kind of draping it over the table just so that if wind catches it, it would help dust it out a bit. But the sun will also help. It makes it a little bit discolored though over time. But just, you know, don't realize how much dust we do accumulate all the time. So I hope you're also thinking about your own life and what eco-friendly things you can incorporate and what is coming into your life that you can maybe swap out or do something a little bit different. I know that there's lots of things happening all the time that grab our attention and pull us in different directions, but I think just coming back and also focusing on what you need and what serves you and what you really want to do as a passion and figuring that out. I know I'm going kind of through this transition of figuring out what I'm going to be doing in the next while as well, but also figuring out, you know, there's things that are continuously coming into my life that I'm like, okay, I'm not able to do it like I have been before, and the connections that I've had before with people and objects and stuff, but there is still things that are coming that I can change and that I do have control over and that I can try to make it. And this is kind of my experimenting time and figuring out all those different methods and ways we can improve our lives and improve what we've been doing for so long and how we can shift it, and, you know, getting back to our own self, because there's just so much happening in the world as well. Like I've been going back to the gym and I've been going for a while. I tried out Pilates at the gym and oh my goodness, like my core was hurting. So I'm still doing like yoga outside, but with Pilates, and there's like this intense ab core workout, and it's just like, whew, you just burn, right? So just kind of getting back into your own body, getting back to the things that are around you that are still drawing you to be inspired, even though some days, you know, they're up and down. So I feel like there's definitely been a little bit of a shift now that it's coming up into like a full cooler bit of weather. And also people with transitioning, going back to school, or how they're structuring their lives. It's just, you know, it's a different phase that we're in, and we kind of go through different phases. And I also think we also go through different parts of our lives. So we have many things that we do in this one life, and many things that we can change and shape. And it's just been this journey, and it's okay to do nothing too. So I hope you're doing well, and I will chat with you guys later. Bye!